What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I am here with the 2024 Acura Integra, and this one is fully loaded as far as non-Type S variants go. This is the A-Spec trim level with the technology package, and I've had the chance to spend a few days with the car to really get familiar with the way it drives. Before we get into the test drive, let's do a quick little walk around. One of those classic hallmarks of the Integra is that stamped in Integra into the bumper. It's on the front bumper and the rear. You have these beautiful jewel eye LED headlights, the chicane LED daytime running light, and LED turn signal up top. Of course, you have to have your A-Spec badging. It's on both fenders and on the rear. If you pay close enough attention, you'll notice this is actually the exact same mirror that is on the Honda Civic. We got these glossy, shark gray 18-inch wheels, dual 5-spoke design. It's a fairly simple design, but I think it works well. It has the signature diamond pentagon grille we see on all Acuras, side air curtain at the bottom, and a nice fog light as well. And I really like the overall silhouette. It has a nice shape, nice body lines, one going up right here, and then you got these at the bottom here. This one's got a nice gloss black spoiler. The lower bumper is gloss black, and we get nice dual chrome exhaust. Taillights have this nice, really interesting shape here. Again, the chicane LED. This is a cool pattern. It has all these different elements that kind of get bigger as they go out. Then you have your turn signal at the very top, just like on the headlight. And this being the A-Spec Tech trim, you're gonna get the parking sensors on the bumper. Another classic Integra design element is this notch right here for the tailgate. As you can see, this is a hatchback, not a sedan. When you first open it right here, you have 24.3 cubic feet of cargo space. For some reason, they don't give you the figures on if it's folded all the way down. Cargo net and a little cutout there for some extra storage. This right here is the subwoofer for the ELS Studio 3D audio system. You can see down here, there's some extra storage. The funnel for the capless fuel. And this is a tire inflator kit. One downside to the Integra is that it does not come with a spare tire. But you can see here, after folding down the seats, you got a ton of room in there. It's certainly a lot of space for a very small car. It's not quite dark out here yet, but for when it does get dark, you can see on the inside of the door handle, you got a nice light there. Nice A-Spec branded aluminum door sills. And also, to continue with the Civic comparisons, this door handle, these switches are all off the Civic. In fact, this whole lower half of the door panel is straight off the Honda Civic. The AC controls are from the Civic. The infotainment screen and its software are also off the Civic. Not a bad thing though, it's a very solid system. As well as the digital gauge display. Again, this is the same digital display they use on the other Acuras, so that's not a complaint whatsoever. But the main component that really makes the interior look like one off from the rest of the Acura interiors is the steering wheel. This is not the regular Acura steering wheel. This is the Honda Civic steering wheel, just with an Acura badge instead of the Honda. But it is a good thing that at least on the Honda Civic, they do give you a leather wheel that really is, you know, up to luxury car quality. Very nice leather, very nice white contrast stitching on the inside. And this is going to come equipped with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, Acura Link. This also has 2 strips of LED ambient lighting, one on each front door. It's still daylight, you can't really see it that well, but it is only the color white. You can't change the color of it. Transmission selector also out of the Civic. For connections, have a USB-A, USB-C, 12 volt, and a wireless charger. I'm happy to report the wireless charger works. I haven't had any issues. I was having a lot of trouble with it in the Acura MDX Type S a few months ago, but in this one, works perfect. Decent space in the glove box. Inside the center console, pretty small, but it goes nice and deep, so I guess all right. The A-Spec also gives you nice aluminum pedals down below. Standard size moonroof up above. It's also got these really nice feeling micro suede seats. They are very comfortable, but I will say again, they're more like a Civic seat than they are an Acura seat. Here in the back seat, you get 2 USB-C ports, a pocket behind the passenger side, no pocket on the driver's side. And now this entire rear door panel is straight out of the Civic. And unfortunately, all of this here at the very top is all hard plastic. So now we're gonna take a test drive and try to cover all the bases. And just so you know, in this video, I am gonna be making a lot of comparisons to the Honda Civic, because that is essentially what this car is. It's a Honda Civic with an Acura badge and, you know, some upgrades over the Civic. So let's talk about the platform and the architecture for a second. So this is based entirely off of the 11th gen Honda Civic, and the 11th gen Honda Civic, when it was first made, it wasn't an actual from the ground up redesign in terms of the structure of the car. It actually uses the same platform as the previous 10th gen Civic, but with a few modifications to it. This is a loaner vehicle from Open Road Acura of Wayne. So does this ride just like a Honda Civic? Not quite. Yeah, like I said, it feels similar, but it's a little bit more refined. The suspension is a little bit more forgiving. It handles bumps in the road and potholes slightly better, but it doesn't have the same level of refinement as Acura's other vehicles, and it certainly doesn't have the same level of refinement as its luxury compact sedan competitors like the C-Class, the Audi A4, and the 3 Series. But in fairness, this car, as it sits right around $38,000, those 3 vehicles all start base model above 40K. The Mercedes C-Class starts as high as 48K. So sure, it's not at that level, but we're not comparing things that are in the same price range. It's a pretty drastic difference in the price. But when looking at this car at face value, an entry-level luxury compact sedan, at its price point, I think it does it quite well. Now, an area where I can say it definitely falls short is road noise. Again, it's only slightly better than the Civic, but the Civic has a lot of road noise. I'll be the first to tell you that. I own one. Other Acura vehicles are much quieter. This doesn't have the same level of sound deadening materials. So in terms of criteria that people may have for a luxury car, being quiet isn't exactly quiet. Also, on the topic of noise, the transmission. This is a CVT, and while it does a decent job at simulating an automatic, it does not sound like an automatic. CVTs are known for having that kind of whiny, drony noise. It's still there, but a lot more subdued. And yeah, it's not as bad. It's definitely tolerable. But I think for a CVT, it sounds pretty good. So now we're going to do an acceleration test of this 1.5 liter 200 horsepower engine. Now, it is advertised that this has VTEC. How exactly that's going to work with the CVT? Let's find out. All right, so shifter in sport as well as the dynamic mode. I really like the animations on the screen there. All right, I'm gonna come to a stop here. We are going slightly uphill, so let's keep that in mind. Traction control off, brake torque it, and I will admit, before driving this car, I certainly had some preconceived notions about it, particularly the transmission. But I have to say, this CVT does an amazing job at simulating gear shifts. And in regards to the VTEC, like that classic Honda VTEC crossover sound, it's there. This one has a slightly synthetic feel to it, but it most certainly is there. Right around 5,200, 5,300 RPM, you can hear the valves open up a lot wider. So one of the best bang for your buck features that you can get here in the A-Spec technology trim is the ELS Studio 3D audio system. So in a car as small as this, you get 16 speakers with surround sound. Now we're here out at the back roads at Eagle Rock Reservation, and we're going to test out the steering and handling. So the Integra in its current form, as well as all of its past forms, it's always had a very sporty nature and spirit to it. Fine, so coming into a turn here. The steering is tuned really nice and tight. Tighter than my Civic for sure, but I kind of like that. But it's nice and precise, it's nice and direct. And as far as the handling goes, this vehicle is very low to the ground, so no body roll whatsoever. The chassis is nice and stiff. feels very confident going into hard turns. You can definitely feel the Civic DNA in it, but everything's just a little bit more refined. And for a vehicle that costs only right around $38,000, this is a fantastic system and sounds far more expensive than what it really is. So let's take a listen. So like I said, the audio system that you get in this car for this price, it is fantastic. Now, when comparing it to some of the other Acura ELS Studio 3D systems, I will say it's not quite 100% up to par with the rest, but in this kind of car, I think that's all right. It's still head and shoulders above the Bose audio system that you would find in the Civic version of this car, but it's still great in its own regard. Nice clarity between bass, mid, and treble, and little to no distortion at high volumes. It is a little bit bass heavy, so I went into the settings and actually turned the bass down a few notches, and all the music I listen to pretty much is all pretty bassy. So I'm not a bass hater whatsoever. I listen to tons of bassy music, but certainly in its default settings, a little bit overpowering. So after cranking it down a notch or two, sounds perfect. So that's gonna wrap up this test drive of the 2024 Acura Integra A-Spec Tech. And a big shout out to Open Road Acura of Wayne, located on Route 23 in Wayne, New Jersey. So let me know your thoughts on the Integra down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please share with a friend and subscribe. It'll really help the channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Let me know down in the comments what other vehicles you want to see on the channel next. And be sure to follow at Optical Automotive on TikTok and Instagram, and check out the page on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.